By now, you know a lot about fasting. But if you don't, please watch our previous video, The Beginner's Guide Fasting. In that video, we dealt with the basic elements of fasting. In this video, we'll build on what we already started. In this video, we'll learn that there are different types of fasts. As we had already established in the earlier part of this video, we said that fasting is not a Christian activity, but a spiritual one. Even pagans fast and also observe various forms of it. But we'll only be discussing the types of fasts we find in the Bible, the types that respected people of God submitted themselves to. If you're planning to embark on a fast, you can use this guide to help you navigate your spiritual adventure. Firstly, I'd like to categorize fasts under 4 major events, which are the absolute fast, the normal fast, the partial fast, and the non-food fast. All other fasts fall under any one or more of these categories. So let's get into it. Number 1, the absolute fast. This type of fast is characterized by a complete withdrawal from both food and water. The time frame is not the subject, but the condition of food and water deprivation. This means people can have an absolute fast that ranges from a day to even a month or more in some cases. Like we always say, you must be led by the Spirit. If He's taking you on this path, you'll know. You won't have to force it. It would be just as it happened with the records in the Bible. Some people who held this type of fast were Moses, who was in the Lord's presence for 40 days without food and water. It says in Exodus chapter 34, verse 28, Moses stayed there with the Lord 40 days and nights, eating and drinking nothing. He wrote on the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments. The curious question is, did he become hungry or not since he was in God's presence? Well, that's something for you to think about on a lighter note. But this is recorded as a fast and an absolute one since he was deprived of food and water. We also have Elijah in 1 Kings chapter 19 verse 8. Elijah got up, ate, and drank, and the food gave him enough strength to walk 40 days to Sinai, the holy mountain. While probably arguable, I believe that Elijah did not eat or drink anything for the next 40 days as he journeyed to Mount Sinai. What do you think? Another place we see the absolute fast is with Esther and the Jews in Esther, chapter 4, verses 15 and 16. Esther sent Mordecai this reply, "Go and get all the Jews in Susa together, hold a fast and pray for me. Don't eat or drink anything for 3 days and nights. My servant women and I will be doing the same. After that, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. If I must die for doing it, I will die." When they were in trouble, they embarked on an absolute fast to seek help from God. The Ninevites also embarked on an absolute fast when Jonah announced their pending destruction. Repentant and afraid, they fasted unto God, as it says in Jonah chapter 3, verses 6 through 8. When the king of Nineveh heard about it, he got up from his throne, took off his robe, put on sackcloth, and sat down in ashes. He sent out a proclamation to the people of Nineveh. This is an order from the king and his officials. No one is to eat anything. All persons, cattle, and sheep are forbidden to eat or drink. All persons and animals must wear sackcloth. Everyone must pray earnestly to God and must give up their wicked behavior and their evil actions. And then we also see Paul, who had just been converted from Saul, embark on an absolute fast in Acts chapter 9, verse 9. For 3 days he was not able to see, and during that time he did not eat or drink anything. That's it. If you observe carefully, they all fasted for different reasons, but all under the umbrella of seeking God. We'll talk more about this shortly. The second type of fast is the normal fast. This type of fast entails only abstinence from food but not water. We have some records in the Bible as well. Let's look at Jesus. It is believed that Jesus' protracted fast of 40 days and 40 nights was not absolute, since it doesn't say he didn't eat and drink. It only says that he didn't eat anything for that period. So, we safely assume it was a normal fast. But it lasted 40 days and 40 nights. It says in Matthew chapter 4, verse 2, after spending 40 days and nights without food, Jesus was hungry. The third type of fast is the partial fast. This type of fast was done by people like Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. It shows us the possibility of eating in a spiritually inclined manner. Daniel was fasting, yet he ate vegetables only. Daniel chapter 1 verses 10 through 12 says, Ashpenaz, however, was afraid of the king, so he said to Daniel, the king has decided what you are to eat and drink, and if you don't look as fit as the other young men, he may kill me. So Daniel went to the guard whom Ashpenaz had placed in charge of him and his 3 friends. Test us for 10 days, he said. Give us vegetables to eat and water to drink. They subjected themselves to vegetables and water, fasting from eating the food on the king's table. On another occasion, Daniel held another fast similar to this in Daniel chapter 10 verses 2 and 3. It says, At that time I was mourning for 3 weeks. I did not eat any rich food or any meat, drink any wine, or comb my hair until the 3 weeks were past. He did not eat any exciting food. He abstained from eating rich foods or any meat and wine. He also made himself low by not taking care of his physical appearance. It's interesting to know that this was also an instance of fasting. The fourth is the non-food fast. This type of fast does not have anything to do with abstaining from food and water, but is a posture of abstinence from other worldly comforts and pleasures. It can be a great spiritual discipline that returns focus and attention to the Spirit of God. When you want to embark on this type of fast, you may want to keep social media to the side, turn off the television, or disengage from other fun activities you know. That's how to do a non-food fast. It's still a spiritual posture because it helps our focus. Now that you know the different types of fasting, let's talk about the different reasons for fasting. Because as much as you want to embark on a fast, there must be a reason. This sometimes informs your decision on the type of fast to hold. So, here are a few reasons people fasted in the Bible. Number 1, a cry for help. In the Scriptures, this was both done individually as well as corporately. For instance, when David sought the Lord's help in healing his dying child, which was a product of his adultery with Uriah's wife, he fasted. This we find in 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 16. There are also corporate instances like Samuel and the entire nation of Israel fasting for deliverance from the Philistines in 1 Samuel chapter 7, verse 6. Also we see Esther and the Jews in Esther chapter 4, verse 16. There's also Ezra and the people praying for a safe journey in Ezra chapter 8, verses 21 through 23, and many other instances in the Scriptures. Number 2. Prayer for direction, such as the fast of Paul in Acts chapter 9, verse 9. The disciples also did so in Acts chapter 13, verses 2 and 3. They needed the guidance of the Holy Spirit, and after their fasting and prayers, the Holy Spirit spoke and gave them direction. Number 3, for alignment and spiritual power. This is another reason for fasting. When we want to gain greater strength for spiritual relevance, we can embark on a fast that shuts out the flesh and launches us into greater spiritual realities. Jesus was driven by the Spirit, and after his fast, he came down with power and started his earthly ministry. We find this in Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 and 2, and Luke chapter 4, verses 1 and 2. Friends, these are the dynamics of a spiritual person. Fasting and prayer is a strategy for greater advantages in the physical realm. When we fast and pray, we're putting down the flesh and its limitations and stretching our hands toward the glorious power of God. When we feel overwhelmed by the flesh, we can take a break from it through the instrument of fasting. When we feel dry in the spirit, we have the spiritual system to resuscitate us through fasting. Now that you know more about fasting, It's time to begin to exercise your spiritual muscles and find help in God. I hope you prosper spiritually. Please like and subscribe to this channel for more godly content like this.